You're listening to Be Well by Kelly LeVeque. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Be Well podcast. I took a mini hiatus for vacation, but I am coming back with one of my solo episodes. So I want to thank each and every one of you who submitted questions. We received questions around supplementation, weight loss, kid advice, postpartum advice, and we're going to jump right in. So thank you so much for your questions. Please, if you have any questions, submit to our TeleB phone number. We'll put that in the show notes today, but it's such a pleasure to be back. And I hope that this episode brings you guys clarity around supplementation, weight loss, postpartum, and a little mom advice from me to you. So let's get started. All right.
Do you take the fatty acid supplement or any supplements?
Great question. So the fatty acid supplement that she's referring to is called Fatty 15. That's pentadecanoic acid. And if you want to learn more about that supplement, you can go back to my episode with Stephanie Van Watson, Dr. Stephanie Van Watson. She discovered this essential fatty acid, and it's a stable fatty acid. I do take Fatty 15. I also take EPA and DHA, that's omega-3, and I take that from Prenatal. So I'm currently still taking my prenatal supplement along with omega-3 fatty acids. So when I think about my morning and starting my day, I want a multivitamin, which is going to give me that foundation of nutrition. I'm looking for vitamin A. I'm looking for all the methylated B vitamins, minerals like iron, selenium, copper, zinc. I like Prenatal because it also includes chromium, which is great for blood sugar balance. I also was an advisor for Prenatal, so I helped with the formulation of that product. I really like that it's a high dose of B vitamins, which is great for your metabolic health. It's great for ATP production. Most of my NutriVals personally come back low B vitamins, and so a methylated form is a really easy bioavailable form of B vitamins. And also, I'm prone to anemia, low iron. And so having B6, B12, and folate, those all naturally help increase iron stores. So they're kind of like the partner in absorbing, helping your body absorb iron and ferritin if you're taking a natural heme iron source. And we'll get to that. So in the morning, a multivitamin, I'm using Prenatal, an omega-3 fatty acid supplement. So I'm using the omega-3 from Prenatal as well. I'm taking the Fatty 15, and then I take a probiotic. So I'm using Seed. Sometimes I'll use Just Thrive, which is a soil-based probiotic. But Seed specifically is known for increasing the number and quantity of bowel movements, along with being supportive of cholesterol. And for me personally, my cholesterol, I have a genetic propensity to elevated cholesterol, and I know that goes up as I age. So I love Seed because our body naturally detoxifies old estrogen and old cholesterol into our bowels, and we want to make sure that we're removing that. And the way to remove old estrogen and other hormones along with old cholesterol is to make sure that we're having consistent bowel movements and also using sources of fiber to support pulling those old hormones and old cholesterol out of our bowels. So I use psyllium husk daily in a Fab 4 smoothie. And if I'm not having a Fab 4 smoothie, and let's say I'm having eggs or grass-fed beef sausage or grass-fed yogurt, I'm incorporating a little bit more dairy now that I'm in my postpartum phase and Julian's not having an issue with dairy. And we can talk more about why I had cut out dairy and bringing it back now. But let's say I'm having something else. I may stir psyllium husk just into water. I also have psyllium husk caps, and I get my psyllium husk from Now Foods. So a great American-made manufacturer, pharmaceutical grade quality. I really love their quality, third-party testing, all of that. It's very clean. So psyllium husk from Now Foods. So I said the multivitamin, the omega-3s, the Fatty 15, the probiotic, and when it comes to probiotics, let's say that I'm having a little bit more sugar. Like I just returned from Europe and there may have been a few croissants and gelatos. I up my probiotics. So I'll take Seed in the morning and then I'll take Just Thrive at night when I take my magnesium. So the morning stack is omega-3 from Prenatal, the Fatty 15, which is also another essential fatty acid, probiotic, and then I do take D3K2 as well. And I'm using Now Foods for that as well. They have a liquid that I share that my whole family uses actually. It's a D3K2 in an MCT oil base. We just put a few drops on our hand and we lick it right off, and my boys are super into it. So everyone in the Levesque house is taking vitamin D3K2. And then when it comes to the evening supplementation, I'm taking my magnesium. So I launched magnesium last year. We are using a blend of magnesium. So the blend includes magnesium biglycinate, and it's really the star magnesium in our magnesium blend is called sucrosomal magnesium. So sucrosomal magnesium is liposomal-like magnesium. And when anything is liposomal, it is easier to digest. It's easier to absorb through your epithelial lining. And so it's encapsulated in a liposomal layer, and that allows for it to bypass the epithelial lining of your gut and be absorbed into your body. So the goal is to increase your magnesium stores internally, because magnesium is used in over 600 enzymatic processes in the body. And there are some amazing studies coming out around magnesium. So even looking at women, when they look at brain health, there was a 2023 study on magnesium, and it showed that women who maintained magnesium levels and started supplementation earlier in life and were on the higher end of supplementation found that they had more gray matter, more increase in neuroplasticity, a decrease in neuroinflammation. So when it comes to thinking about moving towards menopause, super critically important to maintain that gray matter, and magnesium is showing to play a role now. So magnesium, I love it and got hooked on it because it supported my sleep. I noticed a difference in sleep, and our magnesium blend also includes L-theanine and GABA. So both of those make you feel like you've taken a really deep breath. You feel relaxed and calm. And so that blend is a blend of magnesium plus L-theanine and GABA. And because it has that L-theanine and GABA and it really makes me feel relaxed, there isn't a night that I don't remember to take it. So evening stack includes our magnesium, and I take 3 of those pills. When it comes to magnesium is known for pulling water into the bowels. So the number one side effect of overdosing on magnesium, and you're not overdosing, but is pulling water into the bowels. It causes diarrhea or GI upset. So you want to start with 1 and work your way up to 3, and get to a place where you can take a higher dose magnesium without the GI side effects, which is another reason why I chose sucrosomal magnesium, is because it outperforms magnesium biglycinate and a number of other magnesiums when it comes to the bioavailability of it without the GI side effects. So anyways, my evening routine is the magnesium that I take, along with sometimes incorporating a probiotic like Just Thrive. Now, Just Thrive I've also had the founders of Just Thrive and the chief medical officer on this podcast, so you can search for that episode and learn more about that. But when it's a soil-based probiotic, it goes through a germination process, and that creates a protective shell like a liposomal shell or a extended release capsule that can withstand stomach acid. So we really just don't want the stomach acid breaking down the probiotic or breaking down the nutrients you're trying to take that could be absorbed. So that's pretty much the day. On top of that, if I am feeling a little bit low or I've had a blood test that shows that I'm low in iron, I'll take a heme source of iron. I'm specifically looking for spleen capsules or a liver spleen organ blend. And I'll talk more about that because we have a question actually specifically on iron. But that's the stack. On top of that, I will mix up an AG1. So after I gave birth to Tashin, when I was in postpartum, I had really low iron, enough to get an iron infusion prescribed by my functional MD, and started taking I was looking for something that was easy to take, that came with nutrients, greens, like just kind of a pick-me-up, and I started taking AG1. It was really easy and delicious for me to take, so that is something I incorporate into my day. That might be mid-morning or mid-afternoon. If I'm looking for an extra cup of coffee, because we know that's my favorite thing in the whole world, is just that hit of caffeine. I joke that's my favorite drug. But it is an effort not to have 3, 4, 5 cups a day. I really try to stick to 1 in the morning, and I'll be done by 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the latest. I used to push that pickup time 2, 3, 4. And now I've replaced that with things like Sparkling Element and AG1. I also will occasionally get Recess, which is a sparkling beverage with magnesium as well. Kind of one of those mocktail type beverages in a can. But whether it's choosing a greens powder with nutrients and multivitamins like an AG1 or a Sparkling Element or even a packet element, hydrating in a fun way always really helps me from having that third cup of coffee or an afternoon cup. So that's really the stack for the day. And like I said, depending on my blood test, I may need to supplement with something like an organ capsule to bring my ferritin and iron serum levels up. And we'll touch on that in a little bit. But that's the full stack. That's what I'm taking every single day or trying to take every single day. If anyone has worked with a functional MD or had Quest Labs and NutriVals and all the functional testing, if you're using Function Lab, that's a great place to go as well, to get deep research on your own self, to make yourself a lab rat. You'll find that there are so many recommendations around supplements, and it can be overwhelming and it can be a lot. It can be a full-time job to take it. My recommendation would be to take all your bottles and fill a pill box on a Sunday night so that you are reminded to take your pills every single day and put them in a place where it's easy to stack. So I keep my supplements right by my coffee because, as you know, I love coffee and there's not a day where I'm not going to drink that. So I find that I'll hit my coffee maker, my supplements are right there. I'll take my supplements with water. That helps me drink water prior to drinking coffee. So instead of white knuckling it, really try to habit stack your day so that you're doing what you want to do and fulfilling your, creating habits that are automated. So if you want tips on how to automate habits, I interviewed James Clear of Atomic Habits. It's been a New York Times bestseller for years. Go back and listen to that episode. It's really some of the ways that I get clients changing their life, and it's making those habits that you want, those lifestyle goals into habits, and they can be easy. So that's the nutrient and supplement stack for me currently. When it comes to liver health, once to twice a year, I will take a liver supplement, which mostly includes milk thistle. I'm not really currently drinking alcohol, so it's not something that I feel like I need to take quarterly or even twice a year. Right now, it's about once a year, but it's a great thing to consider when it comes to supporting your liver to detoxify, make sure that it's in a place where it has the nutrients it needs to do phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification, especially given that, if we eat out, we're in contact with pesticides, there are phthalates and microplastics, and there may be pharmaceuticals. There's a lot that we're in contact with every single day. So that would be something that I would consider as an adjunct, would be a liver supplement like once to twice a year. So that's the stack, and I'll let you know if it changes. My new amino acid supplements come in flavorless and lemon water, and they're flying off the shelves, and here's why. I have meticulously sourced these vegan fermented essential amino acids from Japan. I am so proud of this being made the Be Well way, with maximum quality and minimum ingredients. My flavorless is simply those vegan fermented essential amino acids from Japan. Our lemon water contains minimal ingredients of only organic lemon powder, organic citric acid, and organic monk fruit. No natural flavors, no artificial flavors, no artificial sweeteners, no emulsifiers, no additives. This is simply that nutrition targeted for your goals. If you want to give my Be Well protein or aminos a try, or restock it if you're already loving it, take advantage of my gift for podcast listeners. Code podcast10 is going to get you $10 off just for being a listener. Write it down and shop with me after you listen. This episode is sponsored by Element. Element is a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix with a science-backed electrolyte ratio of magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Dialing in electrolyte intake can be beneficial for anyone prioritizing their health. With proper hydration, you can see results like better sleep, sharpened focus, improved energy, and much more. And keeping your electrolytes at optimal levels will help elongate that blood sugar curve and calm cravings all day long. Each packet delivers a meaningful dose of electrolytes without any junk, no sugar, artificial colors, no gluten, or other dodgy ingredients. Unlike most electrolyte drinks on the market, Element won't send your blood sugar on a roller coaster. Whether it's running to school for drop-off, filming podcasts, or post-hot yoga, Element has been a total lifesaver. My kids love it too. I feel great knowing we're all staying hydrated without having to sip on sugar-filled drinks. It's my go-to for keeping the whole family hydrated and feeling their best. So if you want to know how it feels to feel truly hydrated, try Element. Get your free sample pack with any Element drink mix purchase at drinkelement.com/Kelly. That's DRINKLMNT.com/Kelly, spelled KELLY. Also try the new Element Sparkling, a bold 16-ounce can of sparkling electrolyte water. I'm absolutely obsessed.
What are your thoughts on beef liver pills? And would this be a good way to increase my iron? If not, do you have any suggestions on how to increase my iron?
First of all, that's a great question. And because it's something that I've personally dealt with my life and something in my life and something that my mom has dealt with and friends and clients have dealt with, I feel like I've gone down the rabbit hole and really created a system for myself personally that helps increase iron levels. So first and foremost, you always want to get a blood test and know where you're at. When we're talking about serum iron levels, you want to be between, if you're a woman, between 60 and 140. Your ferritin levels, if you're a woman, you want to be between 11 and 300, 307 is the normal range. And well, what can happen is our iron levels can go down, our ferritin levels can go down, and it's really important to know what these are. So ferritin, you can imagine this is the storage form of iron. So you can think about it like an Uber driving through your blood, and it carries iron and it carries it safely around your body. So if you have low levels of ferritin, we know that we have low levels of iron because that is the Uber that drives it around your body. Now, iron is a critical nutrient. We know in utero, if a baby or in the first year of life, for example, when you go to take your child to a pediatrician, they'll get a blood test. And normally they're just pricking their foot and they're looking for iron levels. They're looking to ensure that there's adequate iron levels because we know that low iron levels has irreversible cognitive damage, and it can have you can have a decrease in IQ if you don't have enough iron. And iron delivers oxygen all over your body, so critically important. And it is involved in making us feel energized. If you have low iron, you can feel fatigued. You can feel like you have chronic fatigue syndrome. It can, you can see that you see a response in your body. Like for me personally, my hair falls out, my nails are brittle. I don't have the bright, rosy cheeks that I want. I just look flat and I feel flat. And that's because I'm not getting the nutrients and oxygen to my body that I need. So when it comes to iron, there are two different types of iron. There's non-heme iron and there is heme iron. So heme iron is the type of iron that is in your hemoglobin, in your blood. It is the type of iron that you would get if you take organ meats. Spleen is higher in iron than liver. So you asked about liver pills. Liver pills and organ meats from grass-fed animals are a great source of nutrients. They're a natural multivitamin. They're going to come with vitamin A, methylated B vitamins. They're going to come with minerals like iron, which you're looking to get, selenium, zinc, and they are really truly nature's multivitamin. When you think about liver versus spleen, though, spleen is going to come with more ferritin and iron than liver. So if you're specifically looking to increase iron, a source of heme iron from organs would be a great option. Now, when you look at non-heme iron, these are from plant-based sources. When people say that spinach has more iron than beef, it's a completely different type of iron. So when it comes to non-heme iron, we need to convert that to heme iron to be something that we can use and that makes us feel better and increases our iron levels. Also, non-heme iron is absorbed in a different way. So non-heme iron, we absorb 2 to 20% of non-heme iron versus heme iron, where we can absorb somewhere between 15 and 35%. So you're going to see immediately a major increase in our ability to absorb heme iron versus non-heme iron. Now, most of the supplements on the market are a non-heme iron. So you're not going to be absorbing as much as you need. Plus, when it comes to absorption of iron, things increase it. So when we have vitamin A, when we have vitamin C, when we have methylated B vitamins like B6, B12, and folate, those are those nutrients that support the absorption of iron. Now, if we have certain minerals like copper, that can also help. So when you think about nature's source of iron from spleen, you're getting all of those nutrients on top of the iron, the heme iron that you need. It's packaged in a way that allows for you to not only easily absorb that iron, but assimilate it into your body and see your iron serum levels and ferritin levels go up. So when it comes to non-heme iron, like I said, the majority of supplements out there on the market are hard to digest. I would say the exception to that is ferrous iron. So there's a trademarked brand named Ferrocell. This is a chelated, it's ferrous biglycinate chelate. This is a specific type of non-heme iron that has been shown in literature to be easier to absorb. It doesn't cause the side effects of non-heme iron that isn't chelated, like constipation. So a lot of times people are taking a non-heme iron supplement. They're not seeing their iron levels go up. It'll take somewhere between 3, 6, 9 months to see those iron levels go up, and they're having constipation and side effects on the side of it. So I would definitely look for a supplement that contains Ferrocell if you're using a non-heme iron source and you don't want to be taking, if you are against taking heme iron supplements like organs. So couple brands off the top of my head that have it. You can get 36 milligrams of Ferrocell from Thorne. It's called Ferrosorb, and that's easy to absorb. And then you have in the Weenatal supplement that I take, I think that this brand really stands out. Obviously, I played a role in supporting them to formulate this, but they have 18 milligrams of Ferrocell in that multivitamin every single day, and it's only 3 capsules. So not only are you getting your multivitamin there, but you're also getting a woman's daily dose of iron. So for non-pregnant, non-breastfeeding, non-menopausal women who are still cycling, 18 milligrams of iron daily is the need. Now, when you're pregnant, that jumps up to above 25. When you are breastfeeding, it drops to 9. When you are in menopause, it drops to 8. So it really is based on your life and when you're cycling and when you're not cycling. So for most people in that postpartum phase, when you're breastfeeding and prolactin levels are high, you are not losing blood. So your iron levels go down. But I love taking Weenatal, and I'm still taking Weenatal. I'm still breastfeeding Julian. He's 26 months old. We're thinking about weaning at this point, but keeping those iron levels high for me are important. I just had a recent blood test and I'm borderline low. So I'm bringing a spleen supplement back on board just to see my numbers creep back up. I'll get a blood test again in 3 months. This happens to me every time in postpartum. It's part of it. You're giving all your nutrients away to your baby. If you're breastfeeding, all of it, you're truly giving your baby everything, and then you're trying to rebuild. So a great brand that does most of the organ supplements, unfortunately, just tell you the milligrams of organ present in the supplement, but there is a brand called 3 Arrows that tells you exactly the amount of iron milligrams coming from spleen. And the brand is 3 Arrows, and they have an iron supplement that also includes vitamin C, B vitamins, and B vitamins as well. So I think it's folate and B12 to support the absorption. But that is also a great brand if you're looking to, and I have no affiliation to them, but looking to up your iron stores. So to recap this, when you are thinking about iron supplementation, there are 2 types, non-heme versus heme. Heme at the highest, we're absorbing 35% of it. non-heme at the highest, you're only absorbing 20%. And then when it comes to supplementation, the best form of non-heme is that Ferrocell, and the best form of heme is from animal organs, because that's going to deliver your heme iron and also ferritin, and it's packaged in a way that allows it to be the most bioavailable, because those organ meats are also coming with methylated B vitamins, vitamin A, and other minerals as well, including copper. If you are stressed, so I think about my life, I'm a mom, I'm running a business, I have the podcast, I have another book I'm working on, and I sometimes shovel my food without chewing it completely. And I think the stress levels also impact my hydrochloric acid and enzyme levels. So a couple things, if you were like, how do I increase my iron stores without taking any supplements, only with whole foods? Great question. Here's what I would do. You want to eat red meat and sources of iron. If you can, Ancestral Blend from Force of Nature is great. That's a grass-fed ground beef. It comes with organs in it. So it's going to come with liver, and it also comes with heart. And those organs are ground right in. So easy way to get liver without tasting it. We'll throw a little taco seasoning on that, some smoked paprika, some chili powder. You won't taste a thing. And then you are going to cook that in a cast iron pan, which is also going to increase your iron levels. And then you're going to pair that organ meat, taco meat, with something with vitamin C. So vitamin C, sources of vitamin C, citrus, lemon, lime. So what could we pair our taco meat with? A squeeze of lime. In our taco, you could put your lime in your guacamole, but you need a source of vitamin C. Now, if you're like, I don't like Mexican food, well, first, we can't be friends. But second, I would say you probably want to do a pasta dish. So again, ground beef with the organ meats, use a tomato sauce, also high in vitamin C, and then pair that with, a non-starchy pasta like a chef's kiss. And all of a sudden, there we go. We've cooked our organ-rich ground beef in a cast iron pan, increasing our iron levels, pairing it with a vitamin C from the tomato sauce. That's going to increase our absorption and naturally support our increased levels. Now, if you were like, that's great, but I still don't feel like I digest my food, this is where bringing on a super enzyme or a hydrochloric acid or a betaine is going to support digestion. So this is, when you think about digesting your food, your body produces hydrochloric acid and it produces enzymes, and you can think about the acid as acid breaking it down and the enzymes as unlocking your nutrients. You want both of those on board to fully digest your food. So chewing slowly, sitting without screens, feeling calm and relaxed. You're like, yeah, right, Kelly, it's 2025. Got a lot of things I have to do. My digestion is not on track. I feel you. It's a constant battle for me to remember to sit, breathe, chew slowly. But super enzymes from Now Foods has been a game changer for me. There are other brands that do HCl and betaine as well, other brands that have enzymes, but supporting digestion is one of the greatest things you can do if you are buying high quality proteins, organic produce. You want all those nutrients unlocked and bioavailable in your body, and that's one of the greatest ways to do that. And when I think about the trip we just took as a family, there were things, I brought my supplements with me, but one of the things I absolutely had in my purse at all times of the day was Super Enzymes by Now Foods. And that's because I'm eating things I'm not used to eating. And although I'm relaxed, I want to keep my digestion going on vacation. I don't want to have constipation. I don't want things to slow down. I don't want to feel bloated, and those have always helped. So that's kind of the roundup on how to elevate iron levels and ensure that you're unlocking your nutrition from your food, using the synergies of vitamin C, B vitamins, vitamin A, copper to increase levels, and always making sure that you're getting a blood test. It's as simple as asking your OB or your general practitioner, hey, I want to do a Quest lab. Can you make sure that I have iron serum levels and ferritin? And then taking a look. Another thing that I have to mention is when it comes to non-heme iron sources, if you're taking any other form of non-heme iron, just sort of your regular iron supplement that you may get from Costco or CVS, if it isn't a chelated form, and even as a chelated form, things can impact absorption, which is really frustrating. So coffee, tea, beer, wine, grains, dairy, if you're eating any of those around when you take, or drinking any of those around when you take a non-heme iron pill, you're not going to absorb it. So we're really looking at it maybe being at the lowest end of non-heme absorption, 2%. And that feels like a lot of money that you're lighting on fire. So I think really when it comes down to it, using whole foods, doing what you can to create synergies around increasing iron levels, and then leaning on heme iron sources when you can is the best. Now, if you are very low, below those levels, so let's say your ferritin's below 11 or your serum iron is in the 40s or 50s, this is the time to talk to your doctor about writing you a prescription for an iron infusion. It is one of the best ways to feel better when you are low. I'm not a fan of quick fixes, but when it comes to low iron levels, intravenous iron can immediately restore iron levels versus waiting 3, 6, 9 months. And I can tell you, as a mom, I need my energy levels more than anything. And iron IV infusions have been game-changing for me. So it's something that I did with Tashin in postpartum because I was very tired and low iron levels impacted my thyroid and I wasn't really able to function the way I needed to. And then when it came to Julian, we checked my iron levels in the 3rd trimester and I was able to get an iron infusion prior to delivery. So something to consider, especially if you're in the phase of making babies, nursing babies, making babies, nursing babies, making babies, nursing babies. Really important. Or if you have a family history of anemia or low iron levels. So that was a mouthful, but hopefully you feel like you've learned something about how you can naturally or through supplementation raise and increase your iron levels. If you're looking to elevate your family's summer style with swimwear that's both timeless and thoughtfully designed, you've got to check out Minnow. I've been loving their pieces for how effortlessly they combine clean lines and simple details with that fresh, breezy coastal vibe. What I really appreciate is how much care goes into every suit. From the buttery soft fabrics and the UPF 50 plus protection that blocks 98% of UVA and UVB rays, to those perfect sunny days by the water in cute gear. Their girls rash guard one piece and their unisex rash guard shirts have been a game changer for extra sun coverage. Easy to put on with just the right amount of stretch, they keep the sand out of the lining, which is such a thoughtful touch. Plus, their pieces are built to last season after season, which I know makes a big difference. Minnow was founded by Morgan Smith, a mom and entrepreneur inspired by beach life, and it really shows in their elevated color palettes and custom prints. If you're ready for summer or your next family vacation, Minnow just launched a special collection with Over the Moon. Think classic Americana summers, nostalgic florals, ginghams, and sun-washed red, white, and blue palettes. It's picture perfect for boat days. Head to shopminnow.com and enter the code MEETMinnow15 for 15% off your first order. That's shopminnow.com, code MEETMinnow15 for 15% off. Trust me, your family's summer wardrobe will thank you. I am so excited to share with you guys an incredible scientific breakthrough to support our long-term health and wellness. Meet Fatty 15, powered by C15, the world's first essential fatty acid discovered in over 90 years. Scientists are calling it the longevity nutrient, and for good reason. Fatty 15 was founded by Dr. Stephanie Van Watson, who uncovered C15 while studying aging dolphins. Her research revealed something incredible. C15 works by strengthening our cells, improving our mitochondrial function, and protecting us against damaging free radicals. The result? Better long-term metabolic, liver, and heart health. Fatty 15 is powered by pure vegan-friendly form of C15 and an odd-chain saturated fatty acid that's more stable than most polyunsaturated fats. That means it resists oxidation, staying potent in the bottle and in your body. It turns out that many of us are deficient in C15, which results in weaker cells that make less energy and quit working earlier than they should. All of that makes us age faster, sleep poorly, and feel sluggish. But by replenishing our cells with that essential C15 nutrient, the only ingredient in Fatty 15 effectively repairs our cells and restores our long-term health. Plus, it comes with a gorgeous reusable glass jar and refill capsules shipped quarterly right to your door. Fatty 15 is on a mission to replenish your C15 levels and restore your long-term health. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/Kelly15 and using the code Kelly15 at checkout.
What is the cleanest brand of creatine for women out on the market right now?
So that's a tough question to answer because I just launched what I believe is the best creatine on the market, Crevitalis. But I'm going to back it up and let you know that I've been taking creatine for 2 years now. I love the way it makes me feel. As a sleep-deprived mom, there are studies on mood regulation. There are studies on how creatine supports sleep deprivation. So if you've had sleep deprivation, it can support you to feel like you're functioning normally. It is a fast source of fuel, so it helps your body recycle ADP to ATP. So whenever you are working out, this becomes a fast source of energy. Anything that is a fast source of energy for your muscles or your mitochondria in the form of producing ATP is going to be amazing for any other organ in your body that needs to make energy. So whether that's, or use energy, whether that's your brain, there have been studies on creatine supporting women to have regular periods. So if you are someone who has irregular periods, creatine is great for supporting a percentage of women to become regular, which is really awesome. I've been sharing a number of studies on creatine on my Instagram, so definitely go there. Now, when it comes to creatine is sourced primarily from China, and then there's a percentage coming from India. And then there is a very well-known, popular company from Germany called Alzchem. Now, Alzchem is known for purity. Even the raw materials are all sourced in Germany to produce their creatine. Their trademarked brands are Creapure and Crevitalis, and they are known for being a company that's, like I said, sources all their raw materials in Germany and manufactures creatine in-house and is doing a number of studies. Now, Crevitalis is their newest brand, so it comes with all of Creapure's purity, testing, studies that are and the studies that back it. But then when it comes to Crevitalis, this is a micronized version, and that micronization increases absorption and decreases GI side effects. I also love that Crevitalis is being used in a number of women's studies in universities in Europe. So I decided to wait for Crevitalis. I had to wait an additional almost 8 months to launch Crevitalis, but opted to wait for that brand versus using Creapure. Now, when it comes to sources of creatine from out around the world that don't have the known purity testing and studies backing it, like Creapure and Crevitalis from Alzchem, I would just look for a product that has NSF certification or informed sport. These are two labels that are third-party testing that ensure that whatever is in the product is only what's in the product. And so I know there are brands, Thorne is a great example. Thorne has, that's a United States supplement company that has pharmaceutical grade testing, and they do a lot of extra third-party testing and things like Informed Sport and NSF. So the cleanest brand of protein really depends on where it's coming from and how it's tested. Alzchem from Germany manufactures Creapure and Crevitalis. Crevitalis is the brand that we launched here at Be Well by Kelly. I waited for that because that's the micronized version. So it comes with all the purity testing and studies that back Creapure, but it is micronized for better bioavailability and fewer GI side effects. I loved the brand and waited for it. I waited 8 months for it versus other forms of creatine, which are going to be coming from primarily from China and then a little bit from India. If it's coming from China or India or is manufactured by a US brand here, I would look for NSF or Informed Sport certification. That's a third-party testing. It's specifically tested for athletes, professional athletes and Olympians to ensure that whatever is in that product is guaranteed and nothing else. And it isn't, there isn't any extras. Now, there are brands who are launching blends. Creatine plus fulvic acid, creatine plus taurine. There are very few studies on the benefits of pairing creatine with something else. And the majority of studies on the benefits of creatine are specifically on creatine itself. I'm a minimalist at heart. I want to know that whatever's in my product is only that very active ingredient. And so for me, it was just about the purity of the creatine we launched and making sure that it was the one that I felt comfortable drinking, that had been known for purity, quality, and had research behind it. And when it comes to the other stuff, I primarily like to get it from Whole Foods. So when it comes to creatine, just take one, but ensure that it's clean. Look for NSF or Informed Sport or something that's been made by Allschem. If you're looking to give our creatine a try, you can head to kellylevesque.com/creatine or head to our shop on bewellbykelly.com and you'll find Crevitalis there for purchase. This episode is brought to you by AG1, the one thing I never skip in my morning routine. You've probably heard me talk about AG1 before, but I really do take it every day. I mix it with cold water first thing in the morning, and it's just the easiest 30 seconds I give to my health. It supports my energy, digestion, immune system, and honestly, it helps me feel like I'm starting the day off on the right foot. What I love is that it fills any of my nutrient gaps. As someone who eats well, there are still days where I'm running around juggling mom life and work, and I know I'm not hitting every micronutrient target. AG1 gives me peace of mind that I'm getting what I need, and my gut definitely thanks me for it. And taste-wise, it's surprisingly smooth and refreshing. I've tried a lot of green powders, and AG1 is by far the easiest to drink. I've even gone a few days without while traveling, and I could totally feel the difference. A little less energy, a little more sluggish digestion. I really missed it. So if you're looking for a mid-year reset or just a daily habit that actually is sustainable, I can't recommend AG1 enough. It's one of the simplest things you can do for your health, and at less than $3 a day, it's a small investment with a big return. To make it easy, AG1 is giving my listeners a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So just go to drinkag1.com/bewell. That's drinkag1.com/BEWELL.
What is the best way to incorporate your amino acids into your diet and routine?
All right, so how am I incorporating amino acids? I'm actually going to talk about amino acids and creatine because I realized that we didn't touch on that in my stack, but it's something that I put in my coffee every single day and sometimes put into my afternoon AG1 or my Element or mix it in a glass of water. And sometimes I pair it with my amino acids. So I launched amino acids. That was the first product of our essentials line. Your body uses 20 amino acids. 9 of those are essential, meaning doesn't matter what your diet is. You could be fruitarian, vegan, raw vegan, carnivore, doesn't matter. We have to ingest these 9 essential amino acids from our food. And what is so interesting is what people used to take a lot of branched chain amino acids, but what we know now is that if you're taking all 9 essential amino acids and they are leucine rich, that you can create muscle protein synthesis. Now, muscle protein synthesis is when the input of amino acids, specifically these 9 essential amino acids that are in a blend that is leucine rich, it creates a trigger that causes your body to produce muscle mass. And it's pretty amazing because essential amino acids are so efficient. When we look at the research, so my essential amino acids specifically are fermented plant-based amino acids from Japan. So if you are plant-based, I'm trying to fill a void for you. And then if you are animal-based, like myself, and you're eating grass-fed lean animal protein, this is a a foundation that allows your body to get a dose of amino acids to perform a bunch of functions in your body. When it comes to amino acids make everything. They make your neurotransmitters, they make your hormones, they make your muscle mass, your collagen, your elastin, truly the enzymes that break down your protein. So when you think about it, we talked about earlier how you want to have hydrochloric acid and enzymes to break down the food that you're eating. Well, it's kind of this catch-22 because you need enough protein on board, and protein breaks down to amino acids, then those amino acids are turned into other things. So they're turned into enzymes that then break down your protein that you eat, and that cycle continues. So amino acids, I mean, just to give you an example, you eat protein, chicken, fish, steak, and your body uses hydrochloric acid and enzymes to dissolve. If you think about it like a brick wall, you're dissolving the mortar and you're absorbing amino acid brick by brick. And it's almost like an alphabet. And then your body takes all of those letters and it makes a bunch of different words. So if it's a string of less than 40 amino acids, it's a peptide. It's a chemical messenger. If it's above 40, it is a protein, and your body is making your muscle mass with it. We have seen in studies that bringing on amino acids or eating enough amino acids actually increases the weight of your organs. So it truly it is the building blocks of your life. It's absolutely essential. It's essential that you eat it. There's only two essentials, essential amino acids and essential fatty acids. And so I'm delivering you these essential amino acids in the form of powder. And they're very efficient, like I said. So when you think about whey protein, you have to take 40 grams of whey protein and whey protein is leucine rich, but let's say we were comparing 40 grams of whey protein to amino acids. From our Japanese fermented amino acids, you only need to take 1.5 grams of those amino acids to create the muscle protein synthesis trigger that occurs with 40 grams of whey protein. So it's just an amazing, I mean, it's protein, fat, fiber, and greens. This is the base. It's those amino acids that allow your body to rebuild, to heal. And amino acids were interesting. So I started using them about a decade ago with some of my functional MDs and this was like 2 years into me working with them, where they would have clients use amino acids who had autoimmune diseases, or they would have them supplement with amino acids if they had a total knee replacement, a hip replacement, shoulder surgery. Maybe they had a C-section and they were in postpartum. And then all of a sudden, the application really started to become broader and broader and broader. If someone was vegan or vegetarian, under eating protein, low energy, all of these applications started and use cases were increasing, and I started taking them personally and really loved the way that I felt. And when it came to trying to find a good source of amino acids that didn't include malic acid and natural flavors and artificial flavors, because unfortunately amino acids, they don't taste that great. They taste sort of like burnt hair, sorry to tell you. And for me, I'd rather have the cleanest form and mix it in water and just chug it. So that's an option, or something that had a light flavoring that made it palatable that would still allow me to chug it. So how do I take them? The amino acids are something that I take in water. So I talked about how I stack my supplements by my coffee maker. When I have that first cup of water, sometimes it's with a squeeze of lemon, sometimes it's a squeeze of lemon with my amino acids, sometimes it's my lemon water amino acids. And my lemon water amino acids come with organic lemon powder and monk fruit. So I didn't use all of the natural and artificial flavors that a lot of people use, or the malic acid on top to cover the taste. I wanted to just deliver the active ingredient, which are those essential amino acids. So for me, if I am low on energy in the afternoon, I may reach for that in replacement of my AG1. I may put it into Element, because Element does have a very strong flavor, and I use that as sort of the covering agent of the amino acids, or I'll take them in the morning. So you can take amino acids at any time throughout the day. if you are looking for body composition changes, the research supports taking them around a workout. So either right before the workout or right after the workout to bring those amino acids on board to trigger muscle protein synthesis and allow for those amino acids to support building that lean muscle mass in your recovery. So if you're thinking about building lean, strong muscle mass, I would say have them around your workout, mix them in water and chug them and see how you feel. People have reported feeling energized, cognitive differences, a decrease in cravings. You're going to have to try it yourself to see how it works for you. But that's kind of how I take those. If I need to cover them, like I said, element, sometimes mixing them right into my AG1. But a lot of times I'll just mix the lemon water and take it down. On our most recent trip, that was one of the things that I brought with me, the lemon water and essential amino acids. And it was really a game changer because when you're on vacation or you don't have access to your pantry, your kitchen, your fridge, you're not eating as much protein as you normally eat, it can make a huge difference in cravings and just in helping to ensure that you're not losing muscle mass. And the same goes for creatine. So for me, creatine went in my coffee. In the hotel rooms that we were staying in, a lot of them have little coffee makers. I would simply make a black coffee and put 5 grams of creatine in every single morning. So that was also supportive of holding on to lean muscle mass while I was abroad, having the energy that I needed, especially Julian ended up sleeping in our bed for most of the trip. So I was pretty sleep deprived, needed vacation from my vacation. But all of that really helped. So those are strategic. Think about amino acids as a way to ensure that you have what you need to build the lean muscle mass that you're working so hard for in the gym. You can think of creatine as a way to improve, to fight sleep deprivation, improve cognitive function and mood, and also give you that burst of energy you need to lift heavier, go longer, push yourself a little bit more so that you are sore and seeing the benefits of your workouts.
I currently take the prenatal, but I would love to transition to a women's daily pill, or I guess I can continue on to take the prenatal even though I don't necessarily need that. Would love a high quality daily women's pill, or would love your thoughts on that. Love all your podcasts and books and education. I appreciate it.
So you're looking to transition off of a prenatal vitamin. I first want to say that the prenatal vitamin is a high quality multivitamin. So if you are tolerating it well, it is a great supplement to continue to take, whether you're in a pregnancy, in postpartum, or even after. Now, if you're looking for a multivitamin that delivers all of those methylated B vitamins, all of the minerals that your body needs, vitamin A, C, all that good stuff. I think that a functional multivitamin for athletes or like a 50 plus women's is a great option. So Thorne does a couple of these. They have the Elite, which is for athletes, and then they have the 50 plus multivitamin. When it comes to any kind of functional multivitamin, the ones that most of the functional MDs are recommending, it's a lot of pills. It can be 4 in the morning and 4 at night, 3 in the morning and 3 at night, 6 all at one time. And that dose of B vitamins can be hard on the stomach. It can make you feel nauseous. So what I would say is if you were doing, say, Thorne 50 plus or their Elite, I would spread out your dosage. So the 50 plus, for example, is 6 pills a day. And this is not medical advice, make that very clear. This is what I've done in the past. This is what I do for myself. Broken that 6 capsule dose up into 3 after breakfast and 3 after lunch. Eating it with food really supports and helps with any type of side effects like nausea. So most importantly, you want to make sure that if you're taking a multivitamin, that it is using the methylated forms and proper forms of the nutrients you need. I have a PDF that I sell on my website that is all about supplementation, my favorite supplements, this proper forms of nutrients. It's definitely a resource that I would look to. And during a number of our sales, we give away PDFs for free. So definitely look into that.
I was wondering if you have any insights into iron deficiency in women in middle age. I've been iron deficient for most of my adult life. Basic iron pills don't really work for me, even taken with vitamin C. My doctor's kind of lost as to why I'm not absorbing the iron. And I was wondering if you have any insights into why this is happening. Is there another vitamin that I might be deficient in? Is it my gut lining? My friends and my sisters also struggle with this as well. So I was just wondering, if you could shed a little light on that. Thank you.
All right. Well, I feel like I answered the iron deficiency question already, but just one thing to look out for is if you've been through that phase of pregnancies and postpartum, or if you're taking a non-heme iron source, I would absolutely recommend trying a heme iron source and using those natural ways of pairing a organ-rich ground beef with vitamin C in a cast iron pan. And I think you will see an increase in your iron levels. And if you do see an increase in your iron levels, definitely go back to your doctor and educate them or send them to this podcast so they can learn the different sources. I think a lot of times we think all supplementation is the same, but it's very much different in its absorption levels and bioavailability. So hopefully that helps.
For those that have hit 40 and are really struggling to lose weight, that has so gracefully showed up. What are some of your tips and tricks to kind of help facilitate that and not get discouraged? Because I feel like I've been at this for quite some time now and nothing is changing. I can lose 10 pounds and then it just comes right back. So thanks.
First of all, I just want to acknowledge if any women have been on a journey to lose 10 pounds and they lose the weight and it comes right back, how frustrating that is, how just absolutely infuriating that is. And when it comes to working with clients and supporting them on their weight loss journey and supporting them to have sustained weight loss, there's definitely a formula to that. And the first piece of the puzzle is getting a blood test. So we really need to ensure that your thyroid, that your iron levels, that your vitamin D levels are all in a good place. And then from there, looking into a NutriVal to see where your nutrient levels are. So methylated B vitamins can play a big role. If you think back to the weight loss clinics of the 90s, a lot of them included a B12 shot or to support not only like energy production, but your ability to lose weight. We also want to look at your amino acid levels, and we want to make sure that you're bringing enough protein on board, because protein really is thermogenic. It is hard to break down. It takes calories and energy to break down. And we want to hold on to lean muscle mass. Your muscle is your metabolism. It's your metabolic currency. When we think about a pound of muscle versus a pound of fat, and don't tell me they're different because they're both a pound, but when you think about what they are metabolically, or what you can almost envision, a pound of ground beef is a pound of muscle. A pound of fat is about the size of a Nerf football. And so when I'm working with clients, we work a lot with measurements, and we stop standing on the scale. You can also use things like a DEXA scan or an InBody to really get true concrete data, because what a pound of muscle burns versus what a pound of fat burns. So a pound of fat on average it's burning 5 calories versus a pound of muscle can be upwards of 50 to 75 calories a day. So let's say you weigh 130 pounds and you convert 3 pounds of fat into muscle. Not only are you shrinking your measurements, but you're increasing your metabolic burn, your resting metabolic rate. And when we think about resting metabolic rate, it's the long-term body composition changes that keep the scale from going up and down. And so this is where lifting heavy and slow to fatigue and putting on that lean muscle mass then becomes the armor that gives you the flexibility to eat a little bit differently, indulge in a holiday meal, go on a vacation without having all this anxiety that you are going to come back with weight gain. So the biggest piece of advice I have for you is data. Not only do we want data from your blood test and NutriVal to really understand like where your starting point is, we want data in regards to your body composition. So this would be a great time to consider getting a DEXA scan or an in-body to understand what is your lean muscle mass, what is your fat mass, and get in the gym to lift heavy and bring on that protein to see changes. So at a minimum, I would want you having 1 gram per pound of body mass, goal mass. So let's say your goal was 130 grams or 130 pounds. I'd want you eating 130 grams of protein. And what's so interesting is they used to say that we could only digest and assimilate somewhere around 40 grams of protein per meal. Well, we now know that's not the case. So what I have a lot of women doing is eating a large amount of protein in their morning meal. Not only are we better at absorbing and assimilating iron earlier in the day, but that protein becomes a source of just amino acids that we can use the rest of the day. So a lot of times I have clients having somewhere around 50 to 60 grams of protein in the morning with their first meal. You're going to break the fast. You're going to tell your body you're fed. You're going to calm any kind of cortisol, adrenaline that would happen if you were just going straight for an Americano and no protein or food in the morning. So please have breakfast. Make your breakfast 50 to 60 grams of protein. If you want to get really strategic about it, a very lean grass-fed meat, beef, bison, venison is a great choice for a long time in postpartum. Right after delivering Julian in an effort to get back to my fighting weight, as we say it, I was having a bowl of ground beef, and it was very lean. So 85-15 or even lower. You can get up to 93.7, and then you're getting all of that protein, a moderate amount or minimal amount of fat, and you're able to calm all those hunger hormones and all those cravings and make better choices the rest of the day. So that's also a great thing to do if someone has late night cravings, if they are in a postpartum phase, if they're looking to change body composition. So I think a lot of times we think we're eating a lot of protein and we think we're doing the work, but I'm in my 40s. Just turned 42, and I can tell you firsthand with making the kids breakfast and running around and starting my day and making sure someone's out off to camp and I'm off to the to the office or to work or to tape this podcast. There's a lot going on, and we tend to put ourselves last. And counting calories, deprivation, high intensity cardio workouts without a balance of weightlifting and feeling sore, we're not going to get that sustained weight loss that we're looking for. You're going to see a lot more yo-yoing of the scale and a lot more anxiety around holidays and special occasions and vacations and things that should be really fun. Like I really want those to be fun for you. And so I would throw your scale out in your house. I would get just a tape measure and start with your waist, your hips, your legs, your arms, and just take circumference measurements. I'd go get a DEXA scan, and then I would make a plan to lift weights 3 to 4 times a week and walk. If you want to throw a weighted vest on, that's always supportive. I mean, it's kind of crazy nowadays. Everyone's walking around in weighted vests. I'm like, feels scary. Everyone's in a weighted vest, but it's just for benefit. And I would start there, because if you don't know what you don't know, there could be a suboptimal level of nutrients impacting it. And journaling is supportive. I do have the Body Love Journal where you are asked to write down, the protein, fat, fiber, and greens that you're having at each meal. I think it can feel like a lot of homework. The most important thing right now is to focus on that protein in the morning and work your way up. I always work one meal at a time, the most important being breakfast. And I know for a long time that was thrown out the window. People thought breakfast wasn't important, but for women specifically, we don't want the stress our body feels when we're not eating. We want our body to feel calm and fueled. We want those amino acids and fatty acids on board so that we can function optimally and have hormone balance and crush our workouts so that we have that armor, that metabolic muscle that continues to burn calories all day long. So we don't have to count them.
Hi, Kelly. My question is, I'm currently a breastfeeding mama, 6 months postpartum. I'm pumping a lot, and I feel like my late night cravings after dinner are out of control. Just wondering how to balance that out. I do have your Fab4 smoothie every morning, and I try to eat a lot of protein, but after dinner, I'm just nonstop hungry. So curious, any ways to help with that? Thanks. Love what you're doing, by the way. You've helped me in so many ways. Just be a healthier human.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your baby. And I know how much work breastfeeding is. So way to go. And keep going if you can. But I know how intense it can be to have those cravings late night, and just your body is looking for something. It is looking for the nutrients it's not getting. And I would say the best way to do that is to attack breakfast. And I touched on this a little bit in the last question, but when I was in postpartum, making my Fab4 smoothie, I ended up using 2 scoops of protein, sometimes even having like side meats. I love the Eel River ground beef. I love, we call them burger sticks in our house. Those are Teton beef sausages. So I would throw those in the oven and have a smoothie, and then have 2 to 3 of those, or a couple hard-boiled eggs on the side. And it feels like a lot, but if you can really attack breakfast with enough protein and nutrients, it can make a difference. So, those egg yolks are rich in choline. They're rich in fatty acids, the omega-3s if you're getting the pasture-raised organic kind, B vitamins, all the proteins. So just really attacking breakfast so that late night we're not trying to catch up, I would say is critically important. And then take 2, 3, 5 days and just journal the food that you're eating without changing anything. And let's see how much protein you're eating in a day. When it comes to pregnancy, I recommend 1.25 grams per pound of body mass. So it's even more, I think a great average for pregnant women is 150 grams of protein a day. That's 50 grams of protein per meal if you're having 3 meals a day, or somewhere around 50 to 60 in that first meal of the day. And then let's say you do, 30 or 40 at lunch and a 20-gram snack. Let's think like a cottage cheese, a Greek yogurt, what my husband calls cat food, maybe a little canned salmon or tuna, something that's quick and easy, but really is protein dense. I think a lot of times people are choosing what they think are protein-rich foods, nuts, seeds, beans, even sometimes I hear people say quinoa. These are not efficient sources of protein. We really want to be using animal proteins, whether that's roaming animals like grass-fed beef, bison, venison, elk, poultry, chicken, turkey, fish, salmon, even sardines, anything that you can get your hands on that is an animal protein delivering mostly protein is going to change everything. And best of luck. Keep me posted. All right, that's a wrap on our first Q&A episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to submit a question, hit the link in the show notes below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I am here to support you. And as a reminder, this is not medical advice. Please contact your physician, your OB, your functional MD, and definitely run anything and everything by them first. As always, the best advocate for your own health is yourself. Get out there, get your blood tests, check your hormone levels, your iron levels, your thyroid levels. All of those play a role in feeling your best and functioning your best every single day. Check into your body composition using things like the DEXA or InBody. And at the very least, measurements are a better tool than the scale that you use at home. Sending each and every one of you all my love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in, and let me know what you'd like to learn about next.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Be Well by Kelly LeVeque podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving a review in your favorite podcast app and subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. We're also excited to share that full-length video episodes are now on YouTube and Spotify, so you can watch along as you listen. The best way to support me and the show is by sharing it with your friends and family. Your recommendations make all the difference. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson and Cass Balding. The video is recorded by Luke Rodriguez and edited by Jesse Trout. Sound mixing is by Mike Fry. See you next time.
The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical or mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or healthcare team first.